Ilango Vasudevan is a risk management expert and founder of Sandbox, where he gamifies complex risk concepts to drive business resilience. With a passion for modeling and game design, he creates tailored simulations across disciplines like business continuity, crisis management, and cybersecurity, turning risk training into engaging, actionable experiences. Let's welcome Ilango to give his 3-minute speech.
The problem statement we undertook is very different from whatever I heard so far. So we wanted to really de-stress the working community in India, and I have a reason for it, which will I'll kind of I'm sure you know. So we just took it's a complicated subject. I understand. We just took two variables in the whole. Uh, what causes the stress? One is the qualification. When I say qualification, it means the education skills that we get into. The second is that's a specific definition we wanted to give, work type. So what do you mean by work type? Work type means there is something each one of us do on a day-to-day basis in our regular roles, jobs, business, whatever engagements that we do. So the two dimensions create a 2 by 2 matrix. That's what you see on the right bottom of the slide. I'll give you an illustration. So mine is a typical case where I wanted to pursue management education and I did, but I landed up in a job with an industry, sales and distribution. So I very quickly found out that I was in quadrant three. I'm sure all of you can see the 1, 2, 3, 4 in the quadrant, where education was by design, my choice. Work type was a mismatch. Why was the work type a mismatch? Because I, as a person, my personality was more adventurous, risk taking, experimentation, wanted some freshness. Operations don't offer that. By no means I'm demeaning operations, but I'm just saying that that's not me. So quickly, I gravitated towards what I wanted, which is quadrant four. So I moved to a work type which was more projectized. Went into management consulting. In fact, I should say that after many years, that is where my career started. I'll give you a second example of a lady who is part of this presentation. So she's a very successful leader in technology industry, but I could say that her education was accidental. When I say accidental, it was, in India, we have social pressure, societal pressure, family pressure to take up, or even lack of access to colleges that ends you up in a particular education that you have no choice. But then she chose a work that was of her choice, which was more of operation oriented because her personality aligned with that. You know what happened when she ended her career? It was she gravitated towards fourth quadrant. How did she do that? She had a work that she liked. Education did not support, but in the work type, she was happy to pick up the skills that required her to be skillful in the technology industry, and she moved to stage four. So what are we doing here? What is that I wanted to kind of communicate in these 3 minutes? Is there a way we can guide our younger generation who are just aspiring to build up a career into the quadrant four? I would say forget quadrant four, at least to quadrant two, because I still don't know how the society will overcome the accidental education because that's still a larger problem. But even whether you are in two or four, I think it is good. So what we did is we created a new concept called a work type personality assessment, which is a 20 minutes online assessment. It's unlike the typical strength analysis. This is very specific to the kind of work type that you and I want to pursue. So I'll take an example. We did a pilot with a set of computer science students. Computer science has a lot of electives. You call it as UI, UX, app development, hardware, software, networking. They are not the same. It doesn't come under it comes under the umbrella of computer science, but they are way too different. So what we did is we asked these students to take up this assessment, and interestingly, we found that anyone who that any set of people or any set of students that had a dominant personality in characteristics like our personality, like empathy, creativity, sociability, we try to advise them saying that you will do well if you pick up a career in, let's say, UI UX, user interaction, user experience, or multimedia or animation, compared to AI and ML, which is the most talked about topic. It's a relative measure. Don't take me wrong. So depending upon your personality, there are few areas where you can excel. That is what we try to advise them. There is a second example where we work with a defense setup where equally qualified cybersecurity professionals, how do you place them into a red team role and blue team role? They are all equally qualified. 100 people, equally qualified, certified. How do you place 50 of them into red team and 50 of them into blue team? Again, somebody who has an aspiration, adventurous, risk-taking nature should get into red team. Somebody who's analytic, who's risk-averse should get into blue team. It works. So our belief is if we are able to perfect this method of work type personality assessment, we strongly believe that we can make 1% change to de-stressing the work career life of the younger generation. And that is the journey that we embarked into. The hypothesis here is if your day-to-day life, whatever you do on a day-to-day basis is aligned to your personality, I'm sure the outcome is going to be great. Thanks.